Welcome to Peak Selects. There are places on Earth that look like they belong in a movie. Hidden islands, secret military zones, ancient tombs, sacred buildings, vaults full of gold, and places so dangerous, so fragile, or so protected that normal people are simply not allowed to enter. Some of these places are blocked because of security. Some are closed to protect ancient history. Some are restricted because humans themselves would be the danger. And a few are so mysterious that the rules around them only make people more curious. Today, we are counting down the top 10 places humans are not allowed to visit. Before we start, not every place on this list is illegal for every single human on Earth. Some are open only to scientists, priests, military personnel, or people with special government permission. But for normal visitors, tourists, and ordinary people, these places are basically off limits. Let's begin. Number 10, Poveglia Island, Italy. At number 10, we have Poveglia Island in Italy. Poveglia sits in the Venetian lagoon, not far from one of the most visited cities in the world. But unlike Venice, this island is not a normal tourist destination. For centuries, Poveglia had a dark history. It was used as a quarantine station during outbreaks of disease, and later it became associated with abandoned medical buildings and ruined structures. Today, the island is not set up for visitors. There are no safe tourist paths, no normal tours, and many of the buildings are in poor condition. That is one of the main reasons people are not allowed to simply land there and explore. Of course, the internet has turned Poveglia into a haunted island story. People claim it is cursed, full of ghosts, or one of the most terrifying places in Europe. But the more realistic reason it is restricted is simpler. It is abandoned, unsafe, and not open for public access. Still, that does not make it less interesting. An empty island near Venice, filled with decaying buildings and a strange history, is exactly the kind of place that makes people ask one question: what is really hiding there? Number 9, Ise Grand Shrine Inner Sanctuary, Japan. At number 9, we go to Japan, to one of the most sacred Shinto sites in the country, Ise Grand Shrine. Millions of people can visit parts of Ise Grand Shrine, but the most sacred inner areas are not open to normal visitors. The deeper you go into the shrine's religious heart, the more restricted it becomes. This is not because of danger or military secrecy. It is because of religion, tradition, and respect. The shrine is connected to Amaterasu, the sun goddess in Shinto belief, and its inner sanctuary is treated as extremely sacred. Ordinary visitors can approach certain areas, pray, and experience the atmosphere of the shrine, but they cannot simply walk into the deepest sacred spaces. Only specific priests and members of the imperial family are allowed access to the most restricted parts. That makes Ise Grand Shrine different from most forbidden places. It is not protected by guards with guns or warning signs about radiation. It is protected by culture, ritual, and centuries of tradition. For tourists, the most important thing is clear. You can visit Ise, you can admire it, but you cannot enter its most sacred heart. Number 8, Svalbard Global Seed Vault, Norway. At number 8, we have one of the most important storage sites on the planet, the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. It is located deep in the Arctic, on the Norwegian island of Spitsbergen. From the outside, it looks like a strange concrete entrance sticking out of a frozen mountain. But inside, it protects something far more important than money or weapons. It protects seeds. The seed vault stores backup copies of crop seeds from around the world. Its purpose is to help protect global food diversity in case of war, natural disasters, climate problems, or the loss of seed collections. Because of that, many people call it the Doomsday Vault. But normal people cannot just walk inside. The vault is not open to public visitors. Access is limited to authorized personnel. Even if you travel to Svalbard, you may only be able to see the outside area or take a virtual tour. And honestly, that makes sense. This is not a museum. It is a global backup system. Inside that frozen mountain, the future of agriculture is being protected quietly, in rows of sealed seed samples. Number 7, Fort Knox Bullion Depository, United States. At number 7, we have Fort Knox in Kentucky, United States. Fort Knox is famous for one reason: gold. The United States Bullion Depository at Fort Knox stores a massive amount of the U.S. government's gold reserves. The building is heavily secured, surrounded by military protection, and designed to be extremely difficult to break into. But here is the key point. The public is not allowed inside the Bullion Depository. You cannot buy a ticket. You cannot book a tour. You cannot walk into the vault and look at the gold. That level of secrecy has created decades of rumors and conspiracy theories. People have questioned how much gold is actually inside, whether it has been moved, and why the government keeps it so restricted. But the official reason is not complicated. It is one of the most valuable storage facilities in the world. Letting tourists walk around inside a gold vault would be a security risk. Fort Knox is a perfect example of a place that everyone knows about, but almost nobody will ever see from the inside. It is not hidden, it is not unknown, but it is still forbidden to ordinary people. Number 6. The original Lascaux Cave, France. At number 6, we have the original Lascaux Cave in France. This cave contains some of the most famous prehistoric cave paintings ever discovered. The paintings show animals such as horses, bulls, and deer, created thousands of years ago by early humans. For a time, the cave was open to visitors. But that became a problem. Human breath, body heat, humidity, artificial light, and changes in the cave environment began damaging the paintings. The very act of people entering the cave was putting the ancient artwork at risk. So in 1963, the original Lascaux Cave was closed to the public. Today, visitors can see replicas and museum experiences, but the original cave itself remains restricted to protect the art. This is one of the most important examples of a place where humans are not allowed because humans are the threat. Not because visitors would be attacked, not because the cave is full of treasure, but because our presence could destroy something that survived for thousands of years. Sometimes, the best way to preserve history is to stay away from it. Number 5. Surtsey Island, Iceland. At number 5, we have Surtsey, a volcanic island off the coast of Iceland. Surtsey is unusual because humans know exactly when it was born. The island formed during volcanic eruptions between 1963 and 1967. That made it incredibly valuable to scientists. Why? Because Surtsey became a natural laboratory. Scientists could study how life begins on a brand new island. They could observe how plants, birds, insects, and microorganisms arrive and spread without heavy human interference. For that reason, Surtsey has been strictly protected. Ordinary visitors are not allowed to walk around the island. Access is limited to approved scientific research. Even researchers must be careful not to introduce seeds, insects, or foreign material that could disturb the island's natural development. Surtsey is not forbidden because it is scary. It is forbidden because it is scientifically important. It shows how nature builds an ecosystem from nothing. Most islands have thousands or millions of years of history. Surtsey gives scientists a rare chance to watch that process almost from the beginning. And because of that, humans have to stay out. Number 4. Area 51, United States. At number 4, we have Area 51. This is probably the most famous restricted military site in the world. Area 51 is located in Nevada, inside the Nevada Test and Training Range. For decades, it has been connected to experimental aircraft, classified military testing, and of course, endless UFO theories. But let's be clear, there is no verified public evidence that aliens are being stored at Area 51. The real confirmed reason it is restricted is military secrecy. The area is connected to testing and development, and normal civilians are not allowed to enter. Warning signs, surveillance, and security patrols make it clear that crossing into the restricted zone is not a joke. Area 51 became famous partly because the government said very little about it for a long time. When people are told they cannot enter a place, and nobody explains much about what happens there, mystery grows fast. That is why Area 51 became a legend. For some people, it is a symbol of alien conspiracy. For others, it is simply a secret military testing site. But either way, one thing is true. If you are a normal person, you are not allowed to go inside. Number 3. Qin Shi Huang's Inner Tomb, China. At number 3, we have the unopened inner tomb of Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor of China. Many people know about the Terracotta Army, the thousands of life-sized clay soldiers discovered near the emperor's burial complex. Tourists can visit and see those incredible figures. But the emperor's actual inner tomb remains unopened. That makes it one of the most fascinating restricted places in the world. Why not open it? There are several reasons. Archaeologists are concerned about damaging whatever is inside. When ancient objects are exposed to air, light, and humidity, they can deteriorate quickly. There are also historical records describing rivers of mercury inside the tomb, and studies have found high mercury levels in the surrounding soil. So instead of rushing in, authorities have kept the inner tomb sealed. That means one of the greatest archaeological mysteries on Earth is still waiting underground. There could be treasures, there could be texts, there could be artwork, there could be traps, or nothing like the legends say. But until technology improves enough to preserve everything safely, ordinary humans are not allowed inside. The mystery remains buried. Number 2, Ilha Queimada Grande, Brazil. At number 2, we have Ilha da Queimada Grande, better known as Snake Island. This island sits off the coast of Brazil, and it is famous for one extremely dangerous reason: snakes. The island is home to the golden lancehead viper, a venomous snake found naturally only on that island. Because the species is dangerous and also critically endangered, access to the island is highly restricted. Normal tourists are not allowed to visit. Access is limited to authorized researchers and official personnel. This is one of the few places on Earth where the restriction protects both humans and animals. It protects humans from a dangerous environment, and it protects the snakes from illegal collectors, smugglers, and disturbance. The stories around Snake Island can be exaggerated. Some videos make it sound like every square meter is covered in snakes. That is not a reliable way to describe it, but the real facts are still enough to make the place terrifying. A remote island, a rare venomous snake, no public access, and a reputation as one of the most dangerous islands in the world. For most people, the safest way to visit Snake Island is simple: don't. Number 1, North Sentinel Island, India. At number 1, we have North Sentinel Island. This island is part of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and it is home to the Sentinelese, one of the most isolated indigenous peoples in the world. North Sentinel is not just restricted because it is dangerous for outsiders. It is restricted because contact could be deadly for the Sentinelese people. Isolated communities may have little or no immunity to common diseases carried by outsiders. Even a normal illness could cause serious harm. For that reason, India restricts access to the island and contact with the Sentinelese. The Sentinelese have also made it clear that they do not want outside contact. They have resisted attempts by outsiders to approach them, and the law is designed to protect their isolation. That is what makes North Sentinel Island different from every other place on this list. This is not about treasure, not about military secrets, not about tourism, not about legends. It is about leaving people alone. The island is forbidden because entering it could put an entire community at risk. And unlike most restricted places, the best thing humans can do is not explore it, not film it, not turn it into content, and not try to make contact. North Sentinel Island is one of the clearest examples on Earth of a place where curiosity is not a good enough reason to enter. So those were the top 10 places humans are not allowed to visit. Some are closed because they are dangerous. Some are closed because they are sacred. Some are closed because they protect history. And some are closed because human curiosity can do real damage. The strange thing is, when we are told we cannot enter a place, it often becomes even more interesting. But sometimes, the rule exists for a good reason. Which place on this list would you be most curious to see from a safe distance? Subscribe to Peak Selects for more videos about the world's most mysterious, powerful, and surprising places. Thanks for watching.